ASMR Gaming News. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to ASMR Gaming News. Please hit that like button, sit back, relax, and let's begin. So we have a lot of really cool video game news this week. A lot of the biggest games of the year have all launched, so right now is a perfect time to be playing games. So let's just jump right in to arguably one of the most anticipated games of the year, which just came out this week, God of War Ragnarok. So this is a sequel to the last God of War game that came out back on the PlayStation 4. Was a little bit of a reboot of the God of War franchise and series. Even though it's kind of a continuation, they called it a soft reboot of sorts because it changed things about the story and the combat and the characters and things like that in a completely different direction. It's very heavily based on like Norse mythology and really, really awesome. So that game won a ton of awards and did fantastically well back on the PlayStation 4 when that launched. I would say people would put that in their top 10 like best PlayStation 4 game lists. So now we have the sequel, the highly anticipated sequel. We've been talking about it for a very, very long time here on the channel. Little pieces of news here and there. And yeah, the game has officially released. And it's been getting really good reviews. Like, seriously, 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s. People are calling the game a masterpiece, the best God of War game, stuff like that. So, the critics love it. The people reviewing the game really, really seem to enjoy it. And the fans, I have a lot of God of War like fans on my friends list. And the only game I see them playing is God of War Ragnarok. So, I think it's safe to say that the game is a success. And it's already been, I would say, called a Game of the Year, even though it has not won an official award yet. The Game Awards actually are going to be happening pretty soon, and God of War Ragnarok is nominated for Game of the Year, and I say that it's probably going to win that. Elden Ring is another one that might win Game of the Year. There's a few other great games this year, but wow, God of War Ragnarok, they just released some info, and apparently God of War Ragnarok has like the biggest launch in the series history, only like one day after its release. So within one day, God of War Ragnarok has had like the biggest launch ever, which is crazy because I remember how big the last launch for God of War was. So that just tells you a lot of people are huge fans of this series. The game is amazing. And yeah, PlayStation is definitely doing really, really well right now. I recently got an Xbox Series X. Check out my previous video where I talk about stuff that I got for my birthday. I show my Xbox, but yeah, I kind of need some Xbox games. And I think that Xbox, it would be really cool if they got exclusive games very similar to what, PlayStation gets with God of War. Like, I think Xbox needs that kind of game on there as well. Maybe not God of War, but something epic, like story with like warriors or things like that. Like something big, amazing. Because I feel like that's what makes PlayStation unique, is that they usually have this really cool thing with like their games and with amazing stories and content, and the gameplay is usually the best ever. So yeah, fantastic game. Props to the whole development team on that. And let's talk about the next game. So next, Sonic Frontiers came out as well this week and has also received pretty good reviews. I would say Sonic Frontiers has received about higher than average, which is pretty good for a Sonic game. A lot of the previous Sonic games have not done so well, but this one actually has some decent review scores. I'm seeing a lot of 7s, a lot of 8s. People are calling it the best Sonic game in like 10 years. So a lot of praise for Sonic Frontiers. It's like the first huge world Sonic game where the environments and things around you can basically use to your advantage. Like, if you want to do a challenge, you can go do that. If you want to just explore, run around, complete objectives to unlock a newer area, newer location, you can do that. The style of like fighting and combat has been completely revamped and changed, so it's almost like a new experience. Like, this is unlike any other Sonic 3D game that we've got before, like Sonic Generations, Sonic Unleashed. They all kind of play a little bit, the same. Like, there's stages, there's levels, you go to them, you do the next one. This is very, very different. It's almost like the world is the main level, and then you have like little areas that you go, do a little 2 or 3 minute level, and then you go back to the main world area. So, very, very cool. Glad to see Sonic getting a lot of love with this new game. I might have to play it on the channel. Maybe I'll get it on the Xbox, or I'm not sure. Probably get it on PlayStation though. Let's see. Next, we got some info about Call of Duty Warzone 2. So apparently it's going to be called Call of Duty Warzone 2.0, and it randomly appeared on the Xbox store as a 100 gigabyte download. So this apparently is like a glitch. It was not supposed to happen. Like, Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 is not supposed to be releasing right now, but somehow this file got placed on the Xbox store. So I think it's taken down right now, but for the people that did download it, it didn't really do anything. It just installed, but there's no like access to anything. So people are saying that this is like a pre-install for possibly when Warzone 2.0 launches at some point. But that's super cool. At least we're getting some info on that. I know a lot of people are very, very excited about Call of Duty Warzone 2. I feel like Warzone, when that came out, it was like a huge deal because not only was the game free, but it had that classic, Call of Duty feel to it, which a lot of people really, really wanted to play. And, being free and having that amazing gameplay is what kept a lot of people on Warzone. So hopefully Warzone 2 can do the exact same thing. Apparently they've been working on it a lot, so I can't wait to see how the game looks and feels. Hopefully that launches soon. Let's see. So apparently there is a new Gears of War like Netflix movie / TV series that is gonna happen. Honestly, I don't really understand it, but yeah, it looks like Gears of War is kind of partnering up with Netflix for some kind of game and TV show tie-in. So that's kind of bizarre. I know that Microsoft has been kind of looking into other series for their iconic franchises like Gears. They did something with Halo recently, as many of you probably have heard. So yeah, I wonder how this Gears of War show is going to be. Very, very surprising. And here is the actual full info. So they're making a live action movie with real people. And then there's gonna be kind of like an adult animated series for Gears of War. So I assume it's gonna be, full of cursing and violence, something that you would expect from Gears of War. So they're gonna make animated, and then there's gonna be a movie. So animated series and a movie. There's no release date or anything right now. It's just that it is happening. They are working on it. So if you're a Gears of War fan, seems like there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming out. Let's see. So Overwatch 2 just came out a couple weeks ago, and we are already getting information on a new tank hero that is going to be joining the lineup. So yeah, Overwatch 2 revealed a new tank. New tank is going to be coming out on December 6th. So that's like in a month from now. That's not far away at all. So super excited about that. The new character name is Ramatra. And seems to be a kind of like a warrior. So we're gonna get some cool like warrior tank. Definitely looks amazing. I like the design. Go check it out. It's on the official Overwatch 2 like YouTube channel. You can watch the little trailer reveal. I wonder how this tank is gonna play. Hopefully awesome, because I love playing as tanks in Overwatch. So yeah, we definitely needed a new tank. I feel like we needed one a while ago, so really happy with this. So yeah, December 6th. Next we got some news on Final Fantasy XVI's development. It was revealed that Final Fantasy XVI is about 95% complete for release. So yeah, wow. They only need to complete like 5% of the game, and it's finished. They said that they're gonna announce the release date at the end of the year. So probably sometime in December they're gonna come out and say like, oh hey, Final Fantasy XVI dropping in March or April or whatever. So can't wait for that information. I love the Final Fantasy games, and this new one is like really cool. It's kind of like a fantasy medieval setting with like a darker story, and the combat is like very action heavy. Kind of reminds me of like Devil May Cry or something like that. So it's not turn-based or, you know, like the classic Final Fantasies. So I'm interested. Definitely gotta check that one out. We got a rumor this week that Diablo 4 is going to be releasing in April next year. So this is kind of bizarre because Blizzard has been very quiet about Diablo 4. They haven't really given us much info. So yeah, according to this rumor, the game is supposed to come out in a few months. So not sure what to think about that. You know, it could potentially happen. They might, you know, just come out and announce the release date. But I don't know if I can believe this rumor, but it's out there, so I just thought I would report on it. Let's see, what else do we got here? Here's a little piece of news that ties into my recent, like, gift video. Go check out my recent video if you haven't seen it. Basically, I show some gifts and things that I got. But, in that, I mentioned that the new Kirby and the Forgotten Land game for the Nintendo Switch is apparently the best-selling Kirby game ever. And, that came from this piece of news. So yeah, this week it was revealed that the new Kirby game is the absolute best-selling Kirby game of all time. It sold extremely well, so well in fact that I think they're already like planning a sequel to it. So I'm sure they're very happy. Kirby has had a huge explosion of success with this new game, so very happy to see that. Let's see, what else do we got here? Ubisoft came out this week to tell everybody that Prince of Persia remake is not cancelled and it is still happening. And the reason for this is the Prince of Persia remake is a remake of the Sands of Time game for the PlayStation 2, one of the most popular Prince of Persia games. This was announced a while ago. And then ever since, Ubisoft has just like kind of been ignoring it. And whenever people bring it up, they'll just say like, no, yeah, we're still doing that. So recently a lot of people have been calling the game like, just canceled and it's never coming out. So Ubisoft felt like they had to come out and clarify that the game is still being made and it is not canceled. So I'm sure they're getting a little bit annoyed with that. Honestly, I think the game is still being developed. Hopefully we get a release date for next year, because it feels like this has been in development for a very, very long time at this point, which is kind of interesting considering the game is just a remake. Like, they're not, recreating the entire franchise or the entire series. They're just doing one game. So I think they had some internal problems, which is why they had to delay it. We got some additional Overwatch 2 news. I forgot to mention this before, but basically, Overwatch 2 has reached over 35 million players online in the first month since release. So that is a huge deal. That basically means that like 35 million people turned on Overwatch 2 and played a match. That is crazy. Like, that's a lot of people. The game is free, of course, but still, that's a lot of people to play Overwatch 2. So I'm sure Blizzard is extremely happy with that number. Okay, so we actually have two final pieces of news. So, Final Fantasy 16 apparently is going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive for the first 6 months after release. So Sony signed some kind of contract deal with the Final Fantasy 16 developers, and they made the game exclusive to PlayStation for the first few months. So Xbox fans are not necessarily happy with that, but that's something that happened. And the last piece of news is about Five Nights at Freddy's security breach, which is very scary, by the way. Five Nights at Freddy's game that came out recently. I played some of it on the channel, and I eventually had to stop because the game actually got pretty scary. There was this part with like these well, I'm not gonna get into it. Just watch the Let's Play. I got creeped out in like the last episode or two, and I had to stop. But yeah, apparently it's coming to Xbox. So Xbox fans have been waiting for Security Breach to come out, and yeah, they just announced that it's gonna be coming out this month on Xbox. So probably near the end of the month. So definitely play that if you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. And yeah, that's pretty much all the big video game news for this week. Thank you all for listening, for watching, and I'll see you all next time. So long, and farewell.